Hello and welcome to episode 157 of the Truly Daebak Show. This is a bi-weekly podcast where the two of us come together every 2 weeks to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the K-pop industry. This week we got some more reviews like last time. Sorry for being a week late. Had scheduling conflicts, but we'll be back on schedule next week, so expect another episode then. Yeah, as always, I'm joined by Nate.
And it goes like broom, 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 broom.
Yes. Thank you, Chungha.
Yes.
And I'm Jacob. Hashtag no blownotes in the basement. Don't ask. And yeah, this is the Truly Daebak Show.
Just relegated to the basement forever.
Yep. It's just packed away in all my stuff. I don't know when I'm gonna move out, so I'm just leaving all my books and albums and stuff packed away. Yeah, so anyway, I don't think we have anything super like special to mention this week, other than, classic chill in our Discord. Please join if you want a place to talk about K-pop and other different hobbies, gaming, other types of music, whatever. We've probably got a channel for it if people talk about it.
Most types of media.
Yep. Cooking, living, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, come hang out. It's a fun place. There's a lot of cool people. And yeah. So I guess with that, we can get into our first like standard topic, which is what have you been listening to lately?
I've been listening to the stuff we're reviewing, mostly Chungha. Also still listening to Dreamcatcher because that album's so good.
Yes.
And I just listen to it all the time. Other than that, not too much. Trying to think if there was anything else, but no, that's pretty much it. Just Dreamcatcher and the albums we're reviewing today.
Nice. I've been listening to a bit of like a bunch of different stuff. I've been listening to I've gone through like Florence and the Machine, their discography. I found a album by a band called Pale Waves, which like if I were to review it, I'd probably give the album a 6, but I really like the album, if that makes sense. Like it's not creative at all, but it's like really good 2000s like pop punk like sort of stuff. So I like it. It's got a lot of like really good like catchy songs, but I can't really give it much merit on the bounds of like creativity because it's like straight up like ripping off like Avril Lavigne, but it's just good.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that quite a bit.
Nothing special about it.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it, but they do what they're trying to do very well, if that makes sense. That album's called Who Am I? Also I've been listening to Weezer's last album. I just found out they had one. It's pretty good.
Oh really? Yeah, I didn't know they had one.
Yeah, it's called Okay Human. The concept of it's pretty interesting. It's like the instrumental is all like an orchestra. I think it's like a 38-piece orchestra or something like that. But it's like Weezer songs.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And then Post Malone came out with a cover of Hootie and the Blowfish's Only Wanna Be With You. I've been listening to that a little bit as well because it's kind of an interesting cover. It kind of like weaves in elements of the Ecruteak City theme from Pokemon Gold and Silver. So I think that's super cool. And then, on top of that, again, K-pop wise, I've mostly been listening to what we're reviewing because those are like the big releases that came out recently. So Chungha, SHINee, Sunmi. Spoilers for what's coming up.
Right.
So pretty good lineup. I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah. So I'll jump right in.
Yeah, let's jump right in. Chungha.
Okay. We're starting off with Chungha's Querencia, which is her album that we've been waiting for literally a year for.
Yes, we've been literally like drop the album, woman.
Yeah, they announced like what was it, Stay Tonight. They're like, yeah, this is a pre-release to an album, and then like 3 months later, they're like, play, and they're like, yeah, this is a pre-release to an album, and then 6 months later, we finally get the album after like 4 pre-release singles.
Yeah, this is kind of what makes me realize that we as like K-pop fans are like super spoiled as far as like album releases go. because usually
Yeah.
we get like a teaser and then it's out within like a week usually.
Right.
Whereas like
And also,
this is more like a Western or Japanese style drop where it's like we get a bunch of singles and then finally after like
the
a
album
year or
comes
two
out.
the album comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely spoiled. And we're also spoiled on the fact that we just get 2 mini albums a year for every
True.
artist, basically. And most like Western artists, you get one album every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So unless you're Taylor Swift, who just puts out music constantly, apparently.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's finally here. It's ridiculously long for a K-pop album. It's an hour long with 21 songs. That I mean, it's like 10 new songs, like 5 pre-release singles, and like 5 or 4 of these interlude like intro songs. So it's not really that much new music. But it definitely looks crazy compared to all other K-pop albums having 21 tracks.
Right. She basically just released a new album and then just threw all her singles from the past year on it, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least that's...
And then split it up into like 4 mini albums.
Yeah, it's
basically.
Like, that's... So, yeah, I guess before we get into the actual album, the album structure, it's like split up into like different sides, like a record. So it comes off like being like kind of like a double LP. Like on iTunes, I actually went in and split it up into discs because that's just how I like envision it in my head. I kind of actually change it up like that. So yeah, I said on Discord last night when I was like listening to it to actually write up my notes for this. I was like, I really want this to be like a vinyl release. I would totally buy that because it like the structure that she decided to go with totally lends itself to the like vinyl like medium of like physically flipping over a record, putting it back, getting the other disc, putting it in, you know. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, we'll jump into it with side A, Noble. So this is like the intro to side A. And I think it matches a lot of her intros. It's got like weird random English phrases, like really nice deep music. I liked the touch of guitar. But yeah, this was pretty standard. It makes sense though, because Vincenzo does most of her singles and has done all of her intros too. Like she used to do intros for her mini albums. Like her first 2 had these really cool intros. So it makes sense that they did the production for all these too.
Yeah. So I don't understand like the titles of these sides. Like this one's Noble. And then Bicycle is the first song on it.
Yeah, which is like, not noble at all.
Like Bicycle feels like it should be on like
on
Savage. Yeah, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Or Pleasures. Like, yeah, it's just so weird.
Who knows?
The actual what's it called? The why am I blanking? Anyway, the actual intro or side A, interlude, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was interesting. It was like dark and atmospheric, but I feel like it doesn't really lead that well into Bicycle. Like it doesn't seem like it fits that much to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
I thought it was a cool intro, but I was just kind of like thought it was weird, like the way that they like the track list, the track order, I guess, that they went with.
Right. So it leads into Bicycle, which is the actual single from the album. And the song hits so hard right from the start. You got that like nice piano beat intro. And then it's so catchy in like all the best ways, in my opinion. Like I think the melody is really fun to sing along with. It's got multiple hooks that are like catchy and easy to sing along with, and part of that is because half of it's in English. But yeah, it's definitely got like Ariana Grande-esque like influences. I also did not expect her to do like a full rap in the song, because it's been so long since she's done like actual rapping. She was technically a rapper, like
in
IOI. I mean, she was the main lead dancer. Like she was obviously the main dancer. She choreographed like half their songs, but she also was like just one of the backup rappers.
Yeah.
So that like kind of surprised me when she went full on like rap after the first chorus. But yeah, I love it. It's just fun to jam out to. And I think obviously she killed the concept and the choreography. Like, her stage presence is so good. And I think she really is in like the top tiers with Sunmi and Boa, in terms of just like choreography and stage presence.
Yeah. So I'm less positive on it. I feel like I'm like kind of lukewarm. Like, I like it. Like, I think it's a good song, but it's like, I think it's probably the second worst song on the album in my opinion.
Really?
Like,
I don't know.
yeah, like I like. There's only one other song that I like less than Bicycle. Like, I felt like there were a bunch of other like new songs that could have been the lead single in my opinion. I mean,
yeah, I agree with that.
I get from a marketing perspective, like why they would go with Bicycle as the lead single. Like, I can see this becoming a huge hit because a lot of people like this type of music. It's just not my thing. Like you said, I think she's definitely going for more of like a style, like derivative of like Ariana Grande, like her like music from the past like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And yeah, like again, I can see why people would like it, and I don't even dislike it specifically. I just feel like it lacks the personality that I feel from other songs on the album.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely think I would like it less if it wasn't Chungha.
Yeah,
there's definitely a bias inherent to me liking it.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like people would hate the song if Blackpink released it. You know what I mean?
That's a good like thought exercise.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people in our Discord would hate it if Blackpink.
I probably,
you know.
Yeah, I probably would.
Like I think the song's good, and I wouldn't even hate on it. It's just like it just doesn't really do much for me personally, like other tracks do. I guess it's probably mostly because it kind of goes for the like club banger persona, which is something that I've been known not to really be a fan of in general anyway. So yeah, it's like it's a good song, but it's not something that I'll listen to all the time outside of like listening to this album.
Yeah, I can see that. Next we have Masquerade. It's a cover of the song from Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
But really, it's just a really catchy Latin dance track. I think honestly, this could have been the single. I would love to see choreo for this song. It's just like really catchy. I really love the guitar riffs throughout the instrumental. Like, I think this was a really fantastic song, and I could definitely see it being a single.
Yeah, this track is something like the more what I was thinking of for the like title track on this album, especially with it going with like a Spanish title like Querencia. I'm assuming it's Spanish. It's at least Latin based.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really looked up what it meant.
Yeah, yeah, like so obviously this track goes with more of an Latin influence, which is to be honest, something I'm getting a little bit worn out in the context of K-pop. I think it's like I don't know. It just comes up a lot like in the past few years is all. But that being said, I think this song does a really, really good job at executing like the concept it's going for. Like in general, I'm getting a bit sick of the Latin like sort of vibe songs, but I think this does a really good job. The trumpets paired with the more like electronic instrumentals, I think do a really good job of like filling up the mix for like an effective and impactful chorus that I actually would like return to. Like, this is actually one of the better songs on side A.
Yeah. Honestly, this is up there for one of my favorite songs on the album.
Yeah.
I do like it a lot. So, Querencia is a metaphysical concept in the Spanish language. The term comes from the Spanish verb querer, which means to desire. It is in bullfighting. It's kind of like where the bull like hangs out, like, if that makes sense. It is a certain part of the bull ring where he feels strong and safe. So it's like where the bull like goes to naturally.
Yeah, I try to think about if we even have phrases like this in English, like metaphysical like concepts like that.
Yeah,
because like in Korea they have like Han or whatever, like we talked about with the G-Idol review.
Right.
Like, I didn't know that there was such a thing in Spanish, so that's kind of interesting to me.
Apparently, and Querencia is one of them.
It's a fitting name for the concept of the album, like feeling like the area in which you feel strong.
Yeah.
because this is definitely like a strong concept album. So cool.
Right. Yeah, and it's playing to Chungha's strengths.
Right.
A lot. Okay, moving on to Flying on Faith. And I love the guitar intro to this song. I was honestly really hoping it would pick up and be a full-on pop rock song.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't do that, but I still like it. It's got that 90s, like 2000s electro pop vibe with the mix of like the piano and guitar and then the hard-hitting electronics in the chorus. And it's just like, it's one of those songs I love because it just builds over time and just keeps you engaged the entire time. It also is entirely in English.
Yep.
And yeah, I love this song a lot too.
Yeah, I thought this was the best song on side A. This is my favorite, which like I'm obviously a sucker for like electric guitar and pop music, and
right.
I thought this was a particularly like cool use of it, just because I feel like if you take more of an analytical like look at the song, I feel like you could easily make the same song but just replace the guitar with like a regular synth you'd use in a pop song. So I like the choice of using guitar there instead of like just electronic beats and stuff. Yeah. Like the chorus is also really catchy, and like you said, it like kind of emits that like early 2000s like pop rock sort of like sensibility. So yeah, I like that a lot for sure.
Yeah. And finally for side A, I'm gonna butcher this name.
I have no idea.
It's Luce Sicut Stelle. I guess maybe.
I have no
idea what that means. I'll look it up while Jacob's talking. But this is like a more upbeat poppy song, although it's really interesting because the more I listen to it, it's got this really weird instrumentals and like a sparse beat that like the more I listen to it, it sounds upbeat and fun on the surface, but it almost has like a creepy carnival vibe. Like if you're like really paying attention to it because of how like weird the instrumentals and the beat are. That was like kind of a weird vibe it gave for me. But like, I don't think that's a bad thing. It was just something I noticed. I was like, this sounds, on the surface, it sounds fun and upbeat. But then the more I listen to it, I'm like, it's kind of creepy sounding, actually. But it was good.
I thought this was a good song. I noticed that it kind of went for a more like smoother and laid back than the previous two tracks, which are more like high energy. It's more like mid tempo, I guess. And the thing that stood out to me was I thought the vocals and like ad libs on this song were pretty nice.
Right. So it means, so Google Translate, it is Latin. Google Translate says it is, or shines like a star is what the translation is.
Stelle makes sense.
Yeah, and Luce is light.
Interesting.
So yeah. Moving on to side B, which is Savage. And I thought this was just a really great EDM track. You could hear this in a club and like cyberpunk.
Yeah,
it's just like standard rave EDM music.
My notes for this is 4 words: drum and bass intro.
Yeah. It does have a bit of a drum and bass feel. Although actually, I think the next side intro is more drum and bass than this. But yeah, it definitely has feelings of that, and like I said, it just sounds like something you hear it in like a rave in a video game, like a futuristic video game like Cyberpunk or something. And that leads into Stay Tonight, which is one of which is the first pre-release single we got at the beginning of last year. It's one of my top songs of 2020. So it's actually interesting. I wrote this all out like you guys would know this, but then I realized we probably never talked about this song on the podcast because we recorded so little last year.
Yeah, that's true. I think the only one we talked about was Play, actually.
Yeah. This was one of my...
I think we covered that at least.
I do remember talking about Play, I think, but I don't know if we ever talked about Stay Tonight. But yeah, this is one of my top songs of last year. I think it's my top choreography of last year. Like her use of backup dancers is so good, and she did that a lot with these pre-release singles, but this one I think is the best. And just that like going from that really high note stay into that just really deep electronic instrumental for the chorus just like hits me. I love listening to a song. I listen to it so much. I watched all the live stages. Like I loved this song so much.
Yeah, honestly, I think, like, despite this being like a pre-release track, I still think this is one of the best songs on the album for sure. Like, it might be because I'm more used to it, like I've listened to it more than other songs, but yeah, this is definitely one of the stronger tracks in the album for sure. Super catchy.
Right. And that leads into Dream of You with Rehab, who is a DJ. I think he was Dutch. I can't remember off the top of my head now. I didn't write it down.
I love this song.
He is a Moroccan Dutch DJ. But yeah, this is another single we got in 2020. It wasn't promoted though, like State of Night or Play were. But we got this really awesome performance video. It's just another super funky instrumental, fantastic choreography. The choreography's got like a Michael Jackson vibe. She's got the hat that like you get from a lot of Michael Jackson covers.
Yeah.
This is also another English only song, which makes sense for being a like EDM DJ, like a Western DJ. Yeah.
I thought this was another one of the stronger like tracks in the album. I think it's really, really fun. The bass is super like punchy and fun. I like the way it like kind of clears up into almost like the words I use was like ethereal airstream, like with the like noises.
Yeah.
Sort of vibe in like the pre-chorus, and then it like punches right back into the main chorus. I thought this is a really, really fun track. I like this one a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to this a lot when it first came out too. Next we have Bother Me. Sumin helped with production on this and wrote the lyrics. And I think that fact is very obvious with the production. It's just like very dreamy electro pop, like instrumentals, a lot of like vocal melodies. I describe so it's very Sumin, like if you listen to her music. I described it as it's like coffee shop music for a coffee shop that was in space.
Interesting.
like that's what it feels like to me. It's just like this very like dreamy outer space
like,
vibe, like, but it's like
kind of like
chill.
got that type of instrumentation, but it's like more electronic focused.
Yeah.
So this is probably the best non-pre-release song on the album. I think it's in the running along with two other songs that I really like. I love the bass and like the super like thick synths, and the air sounding like sounds in the chorus are really cool. I feel like they're like a high frequency like cymbal synth or something maybe. And yeah, I really, really love the vibe of this song. Chungha's vocals are really smooth, and yeah, I wrote in my notes, the chorus is super effective. It's really, really like punchy and impactful. So yeah, I really, really love this one. Right.
And finally for side B, we have Chill. And this is just a really upbeat like anthem vocal song. It's got like that chanting vocals in the background, mixed with like the fake brass. I actually really liked that. I don't usually like fake brass sounding stuff, but mixed with that chanting, it it almost gives a feeling of like a school band and a choir, like something that would play at like the end of High School Musical or something, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely got that like musical vibe to it.
Yeah, I thought this was another catchy B-side. The main thing I took away from it that I really liked was, like you said, like the echoed like chanting throughout. It set up like a really interesting like vibe. I also thought the sections where she kind of like stops and talks / raps were kind of cute, so that was cool as well.
Right. Yep. Moving on, we have side C, Unknown. So this is the intro, and this song was very drum and bass to me. Although
it's so funny. It's just like when I first heard this, the like the percussion, it reminded me of two different things, and they were both like just flashbacks from my childhood. And it was first this like the intro to Sonic Heroes, like the beginning of the song. Like just go back and listen to it. Just go back and listen to it. And then also there's like, this is really random. I had to dig really far to find this, and it was one of the many like intros to Toonami on like Cartoon Network.
Oh, really?
Also like sounded like that. Like it was like, I don't know why, but the tempo of like the percussion in this like gave me flashbacks to both of those things. I was like,
Interesting.
this sounds like something I've heard before, and I can't figure out what it was. And those are the two ideas that I got in my head. So yeah.
But yeah, it's a drum and bass song. It's got a lot of samples and like glitchy vocals mixed in. But yeah, it's weird because it doesn't really fit the songs that come after it. Like, I think this is like more so than the first two parts. It just feels weird leading into play.
Yeah, I felt like most of the intros didn't really fit with the songs that immediately follow them.
That's true. Like,
nor did they really set up like any thematic like themes.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. They seem kind of random, but I mean they're cool. They're
agree.
cool. They just don't really fit with like the context that they're put in.
Right. I think the last one does, but I would say the first three don't.
Yeah.
Like, the last one's pretty chill, and it leads into the more like chill section of the album. But the other three, I don't really fit that well, because like this whole section of the album is like very Latin inspired, and it has a drum and bass intro, which doesn't make any sense really. So yeah, it leads into Play, featuring Chungha, which was another single we got from 2020. This was like the summer single she put out. Very Latin dance focused. I thought this was another fantastic use of backup dancers that really filled the stage and like made the performance feel like really big and like very musical-esque. There's even like a one-on-one like Latin dancing with a partner in the dance break. But yeah, it's just a really fun summer song she put out. I loved it. I think Changmo's part's fine. It's nothing amazing, but it didn't hurt the song. So
yeah, I guess that's kind of a thing in K-pop, just like rap parts that are unnecessary, but they don't really add or take away anything.
Yeah, they're inoffensive is how I always refer to them. Like, it was fine.
I don't really have.
What do you think?
I don't really have much.
Nothing?
Like, I think it's a good song. Like, we talked about it before, so I didn't write very many notes for it. It's a good. Again, like, this is a Latin inspired track that I think actually like works pretty well, and it's catchy and it's fun. So,
right. Also, she bullfights a sports car in the music video. So
amazing.
That's always great. Great music video. Very colorful. Go watch it. Next we have Demente featuring Quena, who is a Puerto Rican rapper. I looked him up. The song is a mix of Spanish and Korean, which was interesting. There's no English. It's another Latin theme song. Obviously, we have Puerto Rican rapper, and most of it's in Spanish. I would say this one was nothing special to me.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
This is the one song that I thought was worse than Bicycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought the song was good, but not remarkable. Apparently her pronunciation is decent according to Reddit comments I saw. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't really know. But yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, like I think it's cool that she's doing like these international like collaborations, and it's even cooler that she's like, you know, going out and like singing in Spanish. I think that's super cool. I think just the reggaeton like sort of sound I'm kind of just like stale on, because a lot of that genre sounds very, very similar to one another. Like it has kind of a formula that it sort of follows. Yeah, this is probably the only song that I'd probably hit skip on every time I listen to it. It's just not really my thing. But I really like the concept behind it though. I think it's cool to do more of these international collaborations.
Yeah, I think it had an international producer as well, which would make sense. I didn't write it down, but I'd assume so.
Yep.
Next, we have Lemon featuring Cold, who helped produce and write lyrics for this song. And just like Sumin's song, that makes a ton of sense when you listen to it. Honestly, it sounds like something IU would put out. Like I could hear IU doing this.
Yeah,
I like the
maybe
instrumentals.
that might explain one of the things I don't like about this song, actually.
Is it Chungha's vocals?
Yes.
Yeah, so the problem is I like the instrumentals. It's very like I said, it's similar to what Cold would put out. Like you kind of expect it, and it's something that sounds like what IU would put out. But the vocal part is too high for Chungha. Like it's outside of her range.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is like the airy, like really high pitched vocals. I don't think it really works for her because her voice is very like it's like a bit husky and like thick. Which is like I think she should have just sang like normal on this song and it would have been really good. Because I really like the instrumentals and I actually really like Cold's part as well.
Yeah, it just seems like she's straining on the song, and it seems like they did not do a good job matching the like pitch of it to her vocals because it seems outside of her range.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I do like the song. Like you said,
yeah,
I like the instrumentals
a
lot. It just would have been a little bit better. If the vocals was better, like suited to her. Next we have Byeolharang, 160504 plus 170607, which Byeolharang is her fandom name, which I am part of.
What does it mean? Star or something? I don't know. Harang.
I don't remember.
I'll look it up.
And then the numbers are IOI's debut date and her debut date. So if you were curious why there are just crazy numbers at the end of this, that is what those are for. She also helped with production and lyrics, so this is like the fan song. It's an acoustic ballad. It's pretty good though.
So, Byeolharang, so Pyeora, like Byeolha, that part means to become someone who shines bright like a star, and Harang means to fly high together. And then also, Rang, the last thing is like means like with.
Okay, so
yeah, it's a particle that means like with, like Chungharang, like would be like with Chungha.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
But yeah, so this is a fan song. She helped with production and lyrics. It's an acoustic ballad. It's like a lot of fan songs you hear from K-pop groups. But this is kind of what I was talking about with the last song. Like the vocals in this song are much more suited to her range.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just much better in this song than the last song. So I think that helped it stand out a little bit more than it would have. Like, I don't know if I would have liked it as much if the last song fit her vocals, if that makes sense.
Maybe because that might explain. Like this is within like my top 3 on the album. I really like this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I do like it a lot.
It kind of reminds me of like a Taeyeon song, so that might be why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought her vocals were really good. And that was the main thing, is like it's kind of stripped back. It's like guitar comes in really crisp, and then her vocals come in really nice and thick as well. And yeah, especially as well, I liked it when the instrumentals kind of come to fill in the sound space during the chorus. Yeah, I really like this one. I don't see it as just a regular old fan song. I think this is a good enough acoustic ballad to where I feel like it's fitting of like Taeyeon. So that's a really big praise from me.
Yeah, it definitely fits in that vibe. So then we'll finally end with side D, which is Pleasures. And so this is like a really chill, mysterious instrumental. I really like the emptiness to it. And like I said, I think this one does lead into this last section well, because these next 2 songs are much more chill. And they kind of wind down the album. So unlike the other like interludes, this one was much better suited.
My description of this was much more like visual based, I guess. The only thing I said in regards to the sound, I said tuba synth, period. And then it reminds me of like the Mario like underworld theme, like the doo 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 doo, like that sort of vibe. very like dank and like wet sounding, like a sewer, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'd
don't
have
know.
to
That's
re-listen
the
to it.
imagery. That's the imagery I get in my head. So, yeah.
So that leads into X, which was the final pre-release single from the album. So this came out like a month before the album.
Yeah, I didn't listen to this. I didn't listen to this when it came out, so I was really like,
Okay.
I was really into it on the album.
I honestly forgot it came out, and I was listening to this. I was like, this sounds really familiar to a K-pop song I've heard before. And then I like looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, this actually came out, and I've listened to it before. That's why. Because I only listened to it like once when it first came out, because it didn't get promoted. It just had like a artsy music video. But I think it's a really good choice for this last section to start off. Like, it's really chill, like way to vibe down from like the really dance heavy first half. And it kind of links to the end, like the third section ending on like more vocal focused songs.
Yeah. This is another. So the three that I was talking about before were non-pre-releases, so I didn't count X in here, but I would consider X one of the best songs in the album for me. I really, really like the like uplifting and like percussive instrumental that they use for the chorus. Like the hi-hats and the vocal ad-libs added into the last chorus was also really awesome, I felt like. And on the vocals, like Chungha's like airy vocals in this, I felt like would have been a much better way of like handling it if you wanted like more of an airy sound. They should have done something like this on Lemon. I feel like it would have been stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this song. It's one of the strongest songs in the album.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
I think in general, I just really like all the ballads on the album.
Yeah, which is surprising because it's Chungha. Like, she's not known for... Like, I mean, she does put out ballads, and they're usually pretty good, but she's obviously known for her performance more.
Dance style tracks.
Right. So that leads into All Night Long, which Yer and Beck helped with production and wrote lyrics.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And once again, no surprise. Like, if you gave me this album and said Sumin, Cold, and Yer and Beck produced songs on this album, I think you'd easily be able to pick out which ones they were.
Yeah.
Like, all three of them sound so, like, very much like songs that they put out.
Yeah.
So this is just that really chill R&B type song. And like I said, this is another song where she's actually singing in her range. And it sounds really good. And she's also just showing off that she isn't just a dance performer. I thought it was great. I really liked the instrumental ending. I thought it had a really nice vibe to it to end that way.
Yeah. So I really, really like how the instrumental starts off like super like stripped back and sparse, and then like again, like that's something I really love is when it starts out like quiet and then builds right up. This like bursts right into the chorus, which I thought was cool. I thought her vocals were really nice in the verses, but I felt like she didn't quite get there in the chorus. I felt like it could have been a little bit more impactful, but that doesn't really take away from the song that much. I thought this was another really good track.
Yep. Next we have Everybody Has. I thought the mix of piano and synth at the beginning were really nice. It's not something you usually hear in this type of song. And I really like that like slow hip hop style beat.
Yep.
I thought it had great instrumentals. And I really like the echoes and the vocals, and how they matched like the synth. So like there's Chungha singing, and then there's like echoing vocals backing her, and then there's the piano, and then the synth like echoing and backing the piano. And I thought that was a really nice like sound for the song.
Yeah.
And then it has a really nice guitar to finish off too. Yep. At the end.
Yeah, this is the third track that I really, really liked of the brand new ones. It starts off with like a weird like dark dog barking sample for some reason. I thought that was kind of odd.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought this was another like really nice ballad track. Like this is her vocals sound really good in this one, I thought. The percussion in the instrumental sounds kind of like compressed, which gave it like a vintage sort of feel, like a record, like sort of, analog.
Right.
I thought the vocals were nice once again. And yeah, the guitar licks that come in, I thought were a really nice touch. I felt like this was, yeah, definitely one of the stronger tracks in the album.
Right.
So yeah, I love this one.
And finally, for the last full track, we have Comes and Goes.
It's a cover of the Hyuko song.
Okay, I wouldn't have gotten that one. So good catch. I thought this was a really great, like, uplifting song to bring the album to a close. It's interesting because it's more vocal focused than "How Did We Lose You" or "Me." Oh, I froze.
I still had you.
You did? See,
Yeah.
that was weird. That time you froze for me.
Yeah.
That's just interesting.
Yeah, you start out with your description of Comes and Goes.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a great uplifting song that brings the album to a close. It's interesting because it's more vocal focused than the dance tracks that we got, but it's more high energy than like the songs before this that we've been listening to finish the album. So I thought it was a good way to end it with some more energy, but still be vocal focused to match the recent songs we've been listening to. Yeah. The only thing I noticed that was a little weird is the mixing seems a little off in the chorus. But other than that, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. For me, I thought the voice samples in the song were kind of a weird choice. They feel a little bit like out of place from the vibe of the rest of the song. Yeah. Like other than that, I thought this was really, again, another like really nice uplifting feeling song. Another thing I thought was kind of cool is the chorus kind of like kicks in kind of abruptly, which I thought was actually cool. Yeah, I thought this was a really good like track to close out the album.
Yep. And then we finally have Querencia epilogue. So this is like the outro, like all the other interludes and intros we got. It's got this chill, like cut up coffee shop R&B instrumental that I think fits really well with the rest of the song.
Lo-fi
and then you
hip-hop.
think it ends. Yeah, lo-fi hip-hop. And then you think it ends, and then it starts up with like a second half with like a really nice spacey feel to it.
Yeah, when it ended, I thought it would just do like a weird like vinyl thing, like where like it just be just silence for like a minute. Yeah, but that didn't end up happening.
Yep. And then it starts playing like a second half, which is completely different sounding. But yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, the main takeaway I took from this like outro was this is mainly what actually gave me the idea of like this should be like a vinyl, because I feel like they're totally going for that sort of vibe with the like awkward silences in between in this outro. Yeah, I thought this was a really good end of the album, and again, it makes me want to own it on vinyl. So please, Chungha, release it on vinyl. I would buy that for sure.
Yeah,
double LP.
Yeah, I think overall it's a great album. It's interesting to see something this long in K-pop because, like we said, just doesn't happen ever.
I think
it's a little.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think she's trying to have like some like semblance of like a concept album, but I feel like the concept doesn't have that much substance. It's kind of just like there for show.
Yeah.
So I hope she does this again, like the side A, side B, etc. But like has more of like a vision for it on the next album, because I think it's a really
like have
novel concept.
Have a different
K-pop
producer produce like the songs for each side or whatever, so they like feel more cohesive.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, I agree. I do think it's a little all over the place in terms of the concepts. And I think part of that might be the fact that they had all of the pre-release singles. Yeah. And they just like they put one in each side basically.
Yeah, I'm thinking what happened with this album was they probably had like 9 or 10 tracks that were probably like strong that they were going to just put out as an album, but then she like started collaborating with other artists, like all these collabs on the album I feel like were promising as well, so they wanted to stick those in there and get more time to make sure that those were good. That's my like kind of impression, at least. And then I'm sure
Yeah.
COVID didn't make it any better either.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
know?
I think definitely part of it was probably COVID, and like they probably were preparing for the album at the like middle of last year, and
Yeah.
they were just like everything kind of got slowed down, so they had to like cut it up and do all these pre-release singles and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I think the album's a little bit bloated, but I feel like I'm glad it is. I'm glad it is because I feel like we got a lot of really good songs. Although it did make for kind of a hard listen, like on my very first listen of it, and that like I remember listening to it, liking almost every song, but then I couldn't remember most of them because there were so many.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's kind of a difficulty with like releasing a pop album in general. I feel like with a concept like this. So yeah, I hope she does it again though. So yeah, I'll
cool.
definitely welcome the long concept albums. So. Very strong release with an odd choice of single, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
But I definitely get why some people don't.
Yep. All right.
Speaking of.
Yes. Speaking of, why did they pick this as the single? So next up we have SHINee with their new album, Don't Call Me, which... Yeah, I guess I'll just jump right into it.
Yeah, go for it.
This is SHINee's first comeback since 2018, I think.
Story of Light was 2018.
Which Story of Light was great. That was their first album. Post Jonghyun passing away. It was a fantastic album. I loved almost every track on it. So yeah, I was definitely like super looking forward to their first comeback, like after they got out of the military. And yeah, so the title track, the first song on the album is Don't Call Me. And I felt like this was kind of an odd choice to go with for the single, just because it's very different from what I was expecting from a SHINee comeback. Like, it was a lot more aggressive than they usually go for, like concept wise. Like, I feel like the last time they went for something like this was like back in like the Lucifer days. Like, that was the last time they went for like a really hard hitting, like sort of like vibe, I feel like. But that being said, musically, this is like clearly an SM title track. Like, I feel like it would very much just fit right in EXO or NCT's like catalog, which is not typically what SHINee goes for. The chorus like specifically reminds me of EXO's Monster, like as far as like the vibe goes. So I thought it was pretty good overall. Actually, I like the song. It's definitely not among my favorite SHINee singles, and maybe the worst song on the album. Like, just because it's the most un-SHINee song that they've ever released. I feel like. Yeah, it's good, but it's not a SHINee song in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think so. Like, everyone in Discord was comparing it to an NCT song, and like they're not entirely wrong, but also this sounds to me like 2013 SHINee, where like I think this easily could have been on like Odd or Married to the Music, where they were just doing these weird instrumental, like they were just trying weird different things. And like that's the vibe this gave me. Like, it's got the noisy weird instrumental that like we get from NCT and like SM recently. But they've always had those weird instrumentals. They've not had one like this. Yeah. But they've done stuff in this vein.
Yeah. SHINee's always been just, like the FX to Super Junior's SNSD, right?
The thing I think throws people off is those aren't usually their single.
Yeah.
Like, those are usually B-sides.
Like, I don't like I said, I think it's a really good song. Like, if EXO released it, I would not bat an eyelash, right? Or if it was EXO's single, rather. Like, I think I mostly just don't like that they picked this as the title track. Yeah. There are some really good songs on the B-sides that would have been perfect.
I get that. But yeah, I think it's still got, like, it's a weird instrumental. It's still got their signature vocals. I don't mind it, but I get why people are disappointed that, like, this was their comeback after such a long break.
Yeah, like this is the one that got the MV more is what I was disappointed by. Also,
Right.
the MV I feel like was also a little bit disappointing for me. Which
Yeah, that view
this
was
is the
not
only
great.
time I will ever talk about being disappointed about this album, because the rest of it I really liked.
Hmm.
Um, it kind of like looked like a 2013 like Big Bang MV, like, you know.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
I
I
don't
could
know.
see that.
I felt like the MV and choice of single could have been better, but yeah, like otherwise it's a good song and I like it. It just doesn't feel like SHINee to me is the
Hmm.
main
Yeah.
like negativity I have towards it.
Yeah. I liked it. But yeah, I get why people are disappointed. I did really like the instrumental with the piano at the end.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good highlight.
All right. So the next track is Heart Attack, and this is more what I was expecting, like as like a title
Cover of the
track.
A-Way song.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I wouldn't necessarily pick this one, but like if I like thought in my head based upon like their past couple albums, like Odd and Story of a Light, I would have expected this to be like what their like new single would sound like a new SHINee single.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I really like the specifically I really like the faint guitars you can kind of hear in the instrumental during the early verses. And yeah, the chorus is nice. It's catchy and punchy, and yeah, this sounds like SHINee. This is what I think of when I think of like SHINee music.
Yeah, that's basically my notes were like, this is classic SHINee in every way.
Yeah.
It's got the funky instrumentals, it's got their vocal layering and their fantastic vocals. I loved how the beginning kind of felt like a Taemin solo. And then it kind of brought everyone in and transitioned into like a more traditional SHINee song.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a nice feeling. Because obviously the past few years we've been getting a ton of Taemin.
Right.
And his solo music, and that kind of was like, to me it sounded like a little like nod to that. But yeah, like you said, this is classic SHINee.
Yep.
And kind of what you'd expect.
All right. So next up we have Marry You, which I thought was the other one that was a little bit weaker, which is weird because they chose the two songs that I consider the weakest to be the ones they promoted.
Yeah.
Which I just found it odd. Like, I don't know, maybe SHINee themselves are in a different place than like we personally are, and that's why they chose it. So yeah, they're kind of going for a bit more of like an R&B vibe, I guess, on this song. I remember people saying they didn't like this song on Discord. I do like the song. I just think it's just weaker than the rest of the songs on the album. Like the lyrics are a bit cringe, I guess, in the like chorus, which I think maybe that's why people didn't like it. But I think it's catchy and it's fun, so I don't mind personally. I thought Onu's like really nice, thick like vocals in particular stood out to me. As well as like Taemin's really good, like nice vocals in the bridge, also with Onu.
Yeah, like you said, this was done in that pre-release like preview during their showcase thing they did.
Yep.
And I remember reading that people didn't like it that much. And I kind of get it with how repetitive it is.
Yeah. I think honestly it's just because it's not really a single worthy song. Like honestly, like this is good. It's just I feel like it's like a run of the mill like SHINee B-side. Honestly.
Yeah,
you know,
and I don't think it was meant to be a single. It was kind of weird that they did it there as like that pre-release.
Yeah, it was just weird that they chose "Marry You" over something like, which we'll cover later, like "Code" or "I Really Want You." Those are the two songs I would have picked, or even "Heart Attack," which we just talked about. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't hate on it. Like their vocals are so good, and it's got like that really funky bass line. So I didn't mind it. But I do think it's weaker than a lot of the songs on the album.
Yep. So next is Code, which I first listened to this and I was like, this intro is so bad, which I still kind of feel like I really don't like the rap intro that they started with. But like after that, the song is just flawless. I love the whole song after that. Like I just thought it was really weird that they started with this really weird like rap intro that had nothing to do with the rest of the song.
I liked it. It does feel weird, but
yeah, I'm not really into that. I mean, like maybe it'll grow on me because I love the rest of the song. Like it's probably my second favorite song on the album. yeah, like once we get into the Onu and Taemin's part, like after the rap part in the beginning, it's like fantastic. The synth beats they use in the chorus are super like thick and massive, and it sounds really really cool. I like the higher frequency synths that they kind of use as well. Like in the chorus. Another thing I quite
Hmm.
liked was like the falsetto vocals that they used throughout. I thought were really nice.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the synths that lead the song out also like towards the latter part of the song are fantastic. Like this song fucking rules. I think it's probably the second best song on the album, if not for the like weird rap part that I didn't like in the beginning. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, this is my favorite song. I liked the intro. It's definitely weird because it does feel like a different song.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just got that synth intro with like keys rap. But then yeah, it just drops into such an awesome deep house
yep,
synth. And like you were saying, and the vocals are just classic SHINee. They're just tons of layering all over the place. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's easily my favorite song.
yeah. My favorite song ended up being "I Really Want You." I really like this song a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really interesting choice that they went with, particularly with the instrumentals. Like the guitars in the beginning being paired with like the really like compressed sounding like loud claps.
Hmm.
I thought were interesting. It felt a little bit out of place, but in a cool way. Um, that didn't last too long though, because like the synths start to pulse in and the song wastes like no time, just exploding right into the chorus right in the beginning, and I
Hmm.
love that. Um, and yeah, it's super catchy, and once again, like this a big theme on this album. It's just really big and rich sounding. Um, so yeah, this is another banger, possibly the best on the album. It's either this or Code, but yeah, right now I'm leaning towards "I Really Want You."
Yeah, this is probably my second favorite. Like you said, I really like that. Like in the intro, I like the guitar mixed with like the almost whispering like vocals.
Mm,
And then yeah, like you said, it kind of just explodes into this really bright, upbeat pop song. I love the introduction of the brass for the chorus. It makes it feel like really bright.
right.
And like you said, it's just really catchy. The "I Really Want You" part's just catchy and fun to sing along with.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely one of the songs that I'll return to the most, I think, like outside of like just listening to the album straight up.
Yeah.
Um yeah, next up is Kiss Kiss. I don't know exactly what it is for the song, like since I'm like not really an expert on singing technique, but I feel like they went for like something kind of outside of the SM conventions of like like how they sing, like
Yeah.
vocal wise in the song. It like felt a
Honestly,
little bit
the
off, but it was cool, so I don't really mind. But
for me, the chorus kind of gave off like a Beatles feeling,
okay,
like the weird like era of Beatles
mm,
where
like
they're just doing
like the wispy vocals and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, again, as per usual, I'm a sucker for a nice like guitar rhythm section. The bass line's really nice as well. Um, yeah, again, also again, Taemin and Onu like killing the vocal bridges on this album, like really, really good. The ad libs like going on towards the end of the song were really awesome. So again, not one of the top bangers, but like still a really, really fun track that I enjoyed a lot.
Right. Yeah, I really like the driving like bass drum mixed with like the funky bass and synth piano. Like you said, it just gives off like a nice like funky lounge song. And then the guitar, um, with like the layered vocals. I thought it was great, and like I said, it gave off that like the chorus kind of gave off a bit of like a Beatles feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, next is Body Rhythm. This song I was like pleasantly surprised with because I'm
Hmm.
not usually like super into like this is like almost like a reggae like inspired song
Yeah,
with like how
definitely.
the rhythm of it goes. Uh but yeah, I really like that like reggae like percussion they used to like keep the beat. It's really simple, but it's like really really fun. I kind of like that it builds up to almost like a false drop in the post chorus, but then it just
Hmm.
or in the pre chorus, and then it like just fills right up once the real chorus kicks in. It like kind of like makes you wait a little bit after the build up. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan. Like you said, it's definitely got like that reggae vibe, And like I
at
don't
least
think
they
it's
didn't
bad.
do at least they didn't do the annoying like auto-tune vocals like with like Skull and
That
Haha.
oh yeah, I mean they would never do that. I don't think.
Yeah.
And like I don't think the song's bad. I don't think like for me though it just feels like their vocals are kind of squandered in this type of song. Like
Yeah, I can see that.
The vocal part of the song is kind of just generic and it feels off brand for SHINee because like
Yeah, I could see that.
they just have much more skill than this song kind of lets them like show off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was probably my least favorite song on the album.
I think my least favorite's probably Marry You. Actually, Don't Call Me is probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
Like I still think that's such a weird choice for the title track, but anyway, next up is Attention. Yeah, the main thing that sticks out to me about this song is like the super deep bass that punches in throughout the song. It's a really like satisfying contrast from the like higher frequency they use on the vocals throughout the song. I also like how it kind of clears out into like a really twinkly but like clear pre-chorus to drop right back into the bassy style. And then I also really like the whistles that they use in the chorus. I think that's really catchy.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was like another classic dance track with their vocals. Honestly, to me this song sounded like something that could have been on Story of Light or like got cut off of Story of Light. Like it very much feels like a lot of the songs on the album. So maybe it was just like a leftover song from that album that didn't make it.
Could be.
But yeah, I liked it a lot. I love everything on that album, so yeah, I enjoyed this as well.
All right. Lastly, we have Kind. So this is really interesting, I thought. Like this is like I thought the robotic like layered vocals they play with are really cool. Especially when you like wouldn't expect that on like a really somber sounding like ballad track. So yeah, I thought this is like quintessential like SHINee, like not in the sound that they go to, but the concept. They're like just trying out something weird and different, and I think it works really well. And yeah, the vocals are great, and I think it's a really good coming down song to like kind of wrap up the album.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I think like the thing that stands out to me is how much range there is in their vocals in the song. Like their vocals get really deep, which is not something you get from SHINee a lot. Like usually they're on the high end of their range.
Especially
and, like, doing a lot of falsetto and stuff. Yeah, and so like there's some parts in the song where like their voice gets like pretty low register, and that stood out to me. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a really good like SHINee ballad, and it's a really great way to kind of end the album.
Yeah. So overall, I thought this was a really tight album. I think like my main like gripe with it is just I felt like they totally picked the wrong track to be the single. Actually, like just in general, they just picked the wrong songs to promote because it's funny too because both of those songs are also like nothing like the rest of the album either.
Yes, I do agree with that.
I feel like for people that like judge based on the singles, they're gonna might be turned off if they don't like it, even though there is plenty of SHINee to go around in the actual B-sides. So yeah, if you haven't listened to this album, like check out the B-sides. There's a lot of really good ones. So I wasn't too disappointed with this at all. In fact, I really thought this was a great album.
Yeah, I agree. I don't dislike the single as much as most people, but I 100% get why people are disappointed with it, and I do agree that they feel a little weird compared to the rest of the album. The rest of the album is very like classic SHINee, what you'd expect, and then the single is not. Even though I still think it is a SHINee-esque song, but it's a weird B-side SHINee-esque song from 2013, not a single.
I still think it just sounds like an EXO song, personally, but yeah. But yeah, overall, really strong album. I would definitely recommend it. So yeah, check it out. SHINee's back, y'all. SHINee's back.
SHINee is back, finally.
All right. I guess lastly, we can move into our last thing that we wanted to talk about, which is only 2 songs. It is Sunmi's new comeback, which is Tail, which, man,
I'm curious what you think.
dude, I love this song. It's somebody in Discord actually pointed out that it's very similar to 24 Hours. Which I feel like that's exactly what it's like going for, and I think it does it really well. I like her going with something of this style again. I think it works really well, and I'd like to see more like this. Yeah, her vocals in the verses are really catchy, and the chorus is really catchy as well. Overall, it's a really good. I feel like music wise, it's very safe for Sunmi. It's just like this is a Sunmi song, but I'm totally okay with that. As for the MV, holy shit is all I'll say. Go watch it for yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm a lot more negative on it. And I think because of the same thing, like what Aiden was saying, it's a lot like 24 Hours in a
negative
making
way.
that a negative way, and
yeah,
I kind of
think
agree
see
with
it as a
him.
positive, but yeah,
Like, well, I agree with him. Not that, and I think this is the way he was saying it. I don't think he was saying 24 Hours is a bad song.
No.
I think he likes
not.
24 Hours.
It's like that, but not as good. Yeah,
But it's and that's kind of how I feel. I think it is very reminiscent of 24 Hours, but I don't think it's nearly as good. And I think part of it is just nothing for me. I will say
I felt similarly when I first heard it, but like after listening to it a bunch, it's grown on me a lot. The same thing happened to me with when she released La La Lay. I didn't really like La La Lay, except I liked La La Lay less when it first came out. I didn't really like it that much, but it's grown on me since. And yeah, this one grew on me a lot though. I really like it.
Yeah, I think for me nothing about it really stands out that much in terms of like the instrumentals or the vocals. I think the one thing that I do like, I think like the breathy chorus vocals are good. I think the chorus is catchy. But it's very much like you were saying, it's very much reminiscent of 24 Hours. And it's very performance focused, which is what Sunmi does. But I think for me in this song, in terms of the performance, like the choreography is just not as catchy as like almost any of her other songs.
I feel like the choreo is not really trying to be catchy though, if that makes sense. It's like trying to be it's like going specifically on that cat concept, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because she posted the gif on Twitter of that like cat like waving its butt in the air, and I'm like, I'm curious if they literally like based the whole choreo based on just this funny gif, you know?
That honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, and I think that's part of like what I don't like. It just doesn't stand out to me in terms of like of the song for her. Like all of her songs are so catchy. They have like really memorable choreography. Yeah. And like this song, it just seems like it was taking 24 Hours and doing it again, giving it like uninteresting choreography and just focusing all on like the shock factor of how provocative it is and like the outfits
sex
are.
Appeal. Yeah.
And like I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I don't want it to sound like I'm saying like female soloists shouldn't do like sex appeal, like provocative choreography and outfits, but
just felt like it leaned too much on it.
For Sunmi, like she's done that before and had it like feel memorable and like creative. And for me, the song just none of that just didn't happen for me.
I think I could definitely see those points. I think what this says to me is that she maybe needs to like just for a little bit at least like try some like different styles just to like shake things up a bit, even if she does rest back into her original style. I think people would just appreciate having something different. Either that or release an album, please, and just have a different variety of like, you know, B-sides and stuff. Because her B-sides are always top tier, by the way, which I can like segue into What the Flower.
Yeah, What the Flower is amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like this feels to me like the like common sense like successor to like Black Pearl, which is probably my favorite like Sunmi B-side. Yeah, like it's really really great. Like the instrumentation is what's really appealing to me on this. Like the pianos, the guitars, the percussion. Like I don't know, like just this like laid back like vocal song that still has that like sensual like Sunmi vibe,
Yep,
but like
100%.
uses the like organic instrumentation. It just works so well. If she did a
Hmm.
dance track with instrumentation like this, I think it would work really nicely actually. Like just something like this but a little higher tempo that she could
Yeah,
do choreography to.
yeah. My notes are pretty much like echo almost everything you said. Like I really love the instrumentals, like the guitar and jazz piano mix. And it just stood out to me so much because it's not something we hear from her in terms of like singles.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like I think she could do this as a single and still have her signature like sexy choreography to a song like this that she's known for. Like, and I think that's like you were saying. I think that's just part of why Tail didn't stand out to me. It's just it feels like stuff she's done before, and she's done before better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where
One thing,
like I think if she tried something new, but still in her like area, like I think
yeah.
there's room to try stuff like this.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that I do agree that Tail gets totally upstaged by the B side. I think What the Flower
Mm-hmm.
is like one of her best songs like she's ever put out. Though again, that's just because it reminds me of Black Pearl, which is one of my favorite songs by her to begin with. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
want an album and I want like more like B sides that like explore this like sort of area for her because I think she does it really well.
Yep, I agree.
So yeah, I guess that's everything we wanted to talk about. Overall, I think we had a lot of really good songs.
Yeah,
Interestingly enough, that whenever we had anything negative to say, it was almost always about title track of whatever album, whether it was me or
that's
you.
true. Yeah, that's true.
So, yep.
All the B sides were great.
Today,
Well, not all of them.
this is
There
a
were
B
Chungha
side
had,
week.
yeah, Chungha had a couple B sides that weren't that great, but
Yeah,
she also had 21 songs. So
yeah. So she's forgiven.
yeah,
Yeah. So overall, I thought this was a really good week of reviews. Yeah, check out all three of the releases we talked about because they're all really good. So at least one of us thinks whatever is good from one perspective. Anyway, we recommend. So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, definitely listen to everything from that we talked about today and
Yep.
figure out if you like it or not. I think it's all worth giving a shot.
Yep. So yeah, I guess with that, we can kind of wrap up the episode. I hope you liked our podcast. If you do, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you like our podcast and you've been listening for a while, leave a review on iTunes. Positive review, please.
Actually, I haven't checked our reviews in like
Yeah,
a million years.
I haven't either, but I feel like it definitely helps because I think I was looking at I think Podbean or something, and we actually get like a lot of audio listeners that don't watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely yeah.
We have 26 ratings. That's a decent amount.
Oh wow,
I don't
that's
know
way
how many
more than
people
than I last checked.
Oh yeah,
I'll
we
have to
got
check it out.
Basil Noodles and Juju Mona. Okay, so I'm reading these now because this is great.
Okay, sure.
We got Basil Noodles. Was this like last month? Great podcast. Thanks for the podcast episode. The last episode you guys must work so hard on. Went. Their English isn't their first language, but
Okay.
good review. But this one, Juju Mona in January, 5 stars. It's okay. These guys aren't bad.
Okay. Thanks for the 5
That's
stars.
the whole
though.
review.
Thanks
Yep.
for the 5 stars. We'll take it.
That was great. But yeah,
It's
we
like,
actually
it's
we do
like
have,
Amazon reviews I've seen where people like give nothing but like a rave review, but they still give it 1 star for no reason. Like,
right.
But yeah, anyway. Thank you for the positive ratings.
Yeah, we've gotten a few ratings over time, and it seems like we're still getting ratings. Just not everyone writes an actual like review or whatever.
That's good. So yeah, thank you for that, all the audio listeners who left us reviews. Yeah, beyond that, I guess reiterate, if you want a place to hang out with cool people, Discord's there, even if you want to just like lurk or whatever, we got a bunch of lurkers.
Yep.
So
yeah, we do fun stuff, song ratings. We're doing idol bands right now is the one that's happening. So
Yep.
I think what Aiden referred to it as, I don't want to listen to a rating with 100 Korean Imagine Dragon songs on it.
Oh
but,
my god.
which
That's
isn't
actually
entirely
really
wrong, but yeah, if you like idol bands, we're doing that. I think we're gonna do. We do every quarter. We do all the quarterly releases. So like it's a really nice way to just keep up with like everything that released every year.
Yep.
Just each time the quarterly releases comes out, just listen to everything and rate it, and then we have fun ranking it and seeing where everything gets placed.
Yep. So yeah, join Discord. It's cool. A lot of cool people. Come hang out. We're like, me and Nate ourselves are always on there like all day. So like you'll see us on there.
Yeah,
You'll
it's
see
basically
Andrew
my
on there.
social media at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just go in there and hang out to talk to people instead of going on Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
Yep. So yeah, Discord, it's fun. Join, and yeah, I don't think we have anything news coming up. So other than that, we'll have 2 episodes in a row this week, or these 2 weeks, just because we missed last week. So this is making up for that, and then we'll be back on schedule next week. So tune in then, and thanks for listening.
Check out my unboxings too. I'm doing monthly end of the month unboxings the last Sunday of each month to live stream on YouTube, so you can come hang out. They're of varying lengths. This last one was pretty short because I only had like 7 things to unbox.
Yep.
But yeah, the VODs go up on YouTube as well eventually, so you can watch those if you missed it.
Yep.
But yeah, just hang out with chat and unbox whatever albums I bought that month.
Yep.
So yeah, you'll see what we reviewed. I'll unbox Chungha and SHINee. I ordered both of them, so they'll be unboxed in March.
Cool. Yeah, I might have to record a video for your next one because I'm getting the Taeyeon vinyl in the mail like next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll just give that to you and
stick it onto the VOD at the end or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really excited for that. I'm also looking forward to like in like a year from now looking at how much it costs on eBay, depending on how much they made, because it was sold out like the next day. So I'm glad I got it when I did. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I think that's everything I would have wanted to mention. So yeah, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Stay creamy.
Stay throbbingly creamy. All right, so let's address the elephant in the room. The chorus, it's a drop chorus, but it's so freaking weird. It uses like all these like oh no, yeah, that's like the best part of this. That's the best part. I thought that's what people didn't like.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I really like the chorus.